the Baen Free Radio Hour.
On the podcast, hard science fiction ebook specials and aircraft flying perfectly normally in non-Euclidean dimensions. Plus, we continue with the complete audiobook serialization of David Weber's Uncompromising Honor. All right now. Welcome to the Baen Free Radio Hour podcast. I'm Baen Senior Editor Tony Daniel. We have a wide-ranging discussion this time with Baen Publisher Toni Weisskopf about a lot of great upcoming Baen books. We talk 2021, Weber's, Ringo's, Korea's, Flint's, and many more great offerings. Plus, we even delve into the deep future at Baen Books, that is 2022. So that's coming up. And we continue with the complete audiobook serialization of David Weber's Honor Harrington series masterpiece, Uncompromising Honor. Now here's the news. We have a June hard science fiction ebook sale you should check out. Inspired by real science, gritty, realistic, that's hard science fiction. To celebrate the awe-inspiring, wonder-producing hard science fiction of great Baen authors, such as Patrick Childs, Travis S. Taylor, and of course, Larry Niven, Jerry Pournelle, and Stephen Barnes, here are some amazing ebook discount selections for June. We have $2 off on Frozen Orbit by Patrick Childs. We have $2 off Battle Luna by Travis S. Taylor, Timothy Zahn, Michael Z. Williamson, Casey E. Zell, and Josh Hayes. And we have a $2 off special on The Legacy of Herod by Larry Niven, Jerry Pournelle, and Stephen Barnes. Plus $1 off on a huge selection of hard science fiction ebooks, including titles by Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle, Patrick Childs, Travis S. Taylor, and more. Check out all the discounts at the Baen website, but the discounts apply wherever Baen ebooks are sold. The June hard science fiction ebook sale, where gravity makes things falls, the speed of light is an actual speed limit, and ebook discounts apply wherever Baen ebooks are sold. Hey, I want to welcome Baen Publisher Toni Weisskopf to the podcast. Hey, Toni. Caught you in mid.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, that's much better product placement than mine. I'm not getting paid to show Lipton iced tea.
So Toni is the publisher of Baen, and she's edited some anthologies and such, but mostly she just is my boss and everything, and is responsible for everything we do around here. The buck stops with her. So, what we were thinking we could maybe catch everybody up on what's coming up. We have planned out in the works or already done everything up through next spring, sort of. Although things are still being churning and burning, but we have a good idea of what we can tell you is coming. So where should we start? You want to start with this great summer we've got coming up?
Yeah, I think let's go ahead and start with our August titles. I know you guys have already covered most of the summer already, so we'll look ahead to things that maybe haven't covered yet on the podcast. I love all the books that we published. We wouldn't publish them if they weren't books that I enjoyed reading too. But I am very excited about what we've got coming up. And I'm excited that we're going to be able to send Larry Correa out to bookstores on a book signing tour. We haven't been able to do that in a while. So we're sending Larry out to test the waters, and hope Larry's fans will turn out for him. He's going to be making a lot of stops. You have to check our social media. We haven't quite finalized everything. but he'll be in New Orleans and other stops in the South and the Midwest. And he's doing a fundraiser for Uncle Hugo's in Minneapolis at the Dreamhaven bookstore. So really, really excited to be able to.
Uncle Hugo's burned down, or was burned.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. It was caught up in the events of 2020. And the science fiction community is coming together to help Uncle Hugo, hopefully rebuild it in a new location.
Which was a great bookstore in Minneapolis, by the way, for those who don't know.
It was a great science fiction store. Yeah, it was a great science fiction and a great mystery store. I myself read mysteries, and I think I left with more mysteries than I did science fiction when I visited there. But so we hope they will be able to be rebuild. And in the meantime, as I said, there is a GoFundMe that you can help out Uncle Hugo in his efforts to rebuild, and Uncle Edgar in the person of Don Bliley, who is an amazing bookseller and has been a strong supporter of Baen over the years, and a particularly strong supporter of Larry Correia. So happy to.
Yeah. Why are we sending Larry out?
Why are we sending Larry out? Mostly because Larry is a people person, and he's a strong.
We haven't mentioned bloodlines, is what I was saying, but yet it's obvious to us.
Huge. He's a huge supporter of bookstores, and is among our top requested authors for bookstores to do signings. So yes, the occasion of this book signing tour is a brand new Monster Hunter international novel that he wrote with Sarah Hoyt, and it. No, sorry, that was last summer. Yeah, yeah, that was last summer. So this is. This is the brand new Monster Hunter novel that is a solo novel by Larry called Monster Hunter Bloodlines. And we're very happy to join author and fans with this new MHI novel featuring Owen Zastava Pitt in his first adventure since that we've seen him on since the novel that he made a brief appearance in with that Larry wrote with Sarah. So excited to make that happen. We do have swag for those who attend the signings. We're excited to see that and hope to see that in pictures. We'll be running. Do you have a? Yeah,
look. I have it here.
Mystery swag.
Mystery swag. This might be a book bag. That's that. And
it might not. So yeah, we can't show it to you.
No reveal yet.
No reveal yet. So that's coming out in August, and you'll have to watch the social medias and our webpage for the exact times and dates of those signings. But that one's a lot of fun, and Owen just gets into more and more trouble. So
it's like Owen versus another like impossible to beat God that he somehow probably will find a way to take on.
Well, he's going to need a lot of help this time, and making alliances is part of what Owen has to do, and Owen is much more just you see it in front of it, you hug it, you change his diaper, you kill it. This is these are. He likes simple choices, and these unfortunately are not simple choices that he has to make. So it's Larry being cruel to his main character, which we enjoy.
Yes, it's always good to see. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see what else is Augusty.
August is another one close to my heart. We've got Saving Proxima, which is a hard science fiction adventure by Les Johnson and Travis Taylor. I love publishing hard science fiction. These guys, the degrees that they have between them is, ridiculous. They are practicing scientists. We're very, very proud of Les's solar sail experiment that's going to be going up with NASA very soon. And it's just great to be able to publish that kind of, gosh, wow, gee whiz, real science fiction that's based on real science that got so many of us into the field. But I also want to talk about some of the other things that Travis is doing, because Travis is on TV right now. He is one of the stars of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, and he's getting to do experimental science, trying to figure out the weird stuff that's going on in this ranch in Utah. This is a ranch that Robert Bigelow owned, of the Bigelow Space Stations fame, owned it for a couple decades, I think. And he too was investigating the weird that was going on there, the weird phenomena. But we have new processes and new instruments that we can bring to bear on the ground now. And it's a really fun show on the History Channel. So if you want to see Doc Travis doing what, I'm not going to say what he does best, because I think he writes science fiction best, but he is getting to have a lot of fun on this TV show. So I will recommend that.
Travis and Les are both just really excited about
ideas and science and the intersection of science and life. It really comes across when you talk to either one of them too. But it's cool when they combine, because this book is about like they got to go to Proxima Centauri to maybe save some aliens, and they have to take it. They have to do it. There's no breaking the speed of light limit or anything like that, and so all of those relativity effects come into play in this. All the things that the good hard science fiction stuff comes into play, and it affects people's lives, right?
Yeah, and dealing with real world problems in a real world way is, I think, inspiring. There's a lot of fun with some gosh wow, and let's just poof, go where the action is. But but science, real science, is dealing with real problems, and for instance, the problems of cats. Getting real scientists to write some real science fiction, something we're very proud of doing at Baen. So,
absolutely.
Of course, then there's always breaking stuff up. So, World Breakers is also an August title.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It is. World Breakers is tons of fun. It is basically inspired by Keith Laumer's Bolos. And more specifically, Jim Baen's editorial letter to Keith Laumer talking about the Bolos. And we shared that letter with a bunch of authors, and they were inspired to write stories about big AI tanks. We had Toni and Christopher Rocchio put this together. You want to? So tell us.
Yeah. Well,
who you got to play in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I mean, there's all kind of cool stuff. As you might suspect, a lot of the stories have the AI tank as the main character and who we see everything through. And they're often these stalwart characters and the humans are just doing all kind of crazy stuff, and the AI tanks are sympathetic and fun, and trying to deal with all these insane humans around them and keep to their duty and do what they're good at, which is kind of a classic Bolo sort of take on them, I think. And a few of them the tanks are a little off. They can't quite figure out what's going on because they've been out of circulation for a while and they suddenly wake up or something like that. And so adapting to a completely new reality is kind of fun as well for some of the stories. And there's a really good long Weber that we end it with, David Weber
great
story that is really fun, and that is that has a very stalwart AI tank who's defending a queen of a I can't remember the series this is connected. It's one of Weber's worlds.
Well, if it was that other publishers, then we won't mention it anyway. So
not the, anyway, Weber readers will immediately know when they get to it. But it's really fun, and it's about this very strong, courageous queen as well of a sort of far star empire future. So it's really cool.
David writes women very well, and for a long time it was thought that it was actually a pseudonym for a female writer. But I think David is just in touch with his female side, so he's able to write strong characters of any sex. How he channels the AI, I'm not really sure, but he's always done really. I think he was one of the best writers of non-Lorimer Bolo stories. He and Linda Evans both did really well, and John Ringo also did. No, it was Ringo. Well, no, Linda did some solo stories on her own before she worked with John on the road to Damascus. But other writers have been inspired by the Bolos, worked in the actual Bolo universe. These are non-Bolo, but definitely Bolo-inspired stories. So we try to give credit to Keith Laumer and his impact on the genre, and honor him and honor his memory with this volume. So that's coming out in August too. We've got some
in September we're bringing an old a best-selling author from elsewhere has come to Baen with a cool book. It's a fantasy novel, and it's fast-paced, quip-filled, a lot of fun. It's Simon R. Green. A lot of people will have read his work. And we've got Jekyll and Hyde by him, Incorporated. Sorry, Jekyll and Hyde Incorporated, because it's about these monsters that control the underworld, and a cop who sort of gets drawn into this world and tries to take them down, and in fact just becomes rather good at taking them down, because he's to repair his damage in a horrific raid that went wrong. He is offered this elixir that might turn him into a Hyde, which is a kind of monster that is like the Jekyll and Hydes. And once you do that, you become strong, sexy, magnetic, and you can beat up vampires really good. So.
Yeah. Our radio listeners aren't going to be able to see that, but this is the cover art for Jekyll and Hyde Ink, and Todd Lockwood was the artist who did this, and he's another who likes painting strong women. So I have to say that he did a great job with the musculature of the lady in the sexy red dress here, and you can see the monster nature of our looming hero as well. So really a great job from Todd on the cover, and happy to welcome Simon Green to the Baen stable. So we will be having more from him forthcoming. He's an American writer, but he's been living in England for a long time. So he's sort of got that continental touch in his writing. Yes, we appreciate it. So that'll be fun, coming out in September. What else do we have in September? Yeah, Dr. Gribbleflotz. You cannot keep Dr. Gribbleflotz down. He's irrepressible. So this is a beloved character in the 1632 universe who's made an appearance in the Grantville Gazettes in many, many stories, and has appeared in a book with the Baen imprint a couple of years ago. And he comes back in a new book by Karen Offord and Rick Boatwright, coming out in September. Another just absolutely fun 1632 cover from Tom Kidd. Yeah. See if I can.
And you could.
I can find.
You could characterize this book as a bit of a romp.
Yes.
Pretty fun.
Here we go. Yeah, there's a gun to Gribbleflotz's head. I am 100% sure that he deserves it. You know, he's a charlatan, but he's also got the heart of gold. So that's coming out in September as well. Speaking of Les Johnson, we are reprinting Going Interstellar, one of the first collections that he did for us, edited with Jack McDevitt. And Les is an irrepressible speaker who has been. He talks about science and its impact on people, and wherever he goes, people want to buy this book, Going Interstellar, which is all about taking humanity to the next star.
It's a science and science fiction collection, which is really cool. Used to be a lot more of those. I always loved them when I was.
Yeah. Well, I think they're some of the most influential works that we do, if not the best selling, because they tend to all the metaphors that I can think of are biological, about like growing like mold, and should probably be better metaphors, but they tend to keep on making you think. I know what I wanted to talk about. Can we talk about the teacher's guides that we have for Going Interstellar?
Absolutely, yeah. Got teacher guide. Yeah. We have a lot of teacher guides, so that's one of them that we have. These are really comprehensive. They have synopsises of the books or synopsises of the stories, if it's an anthology like this, and they have study questions. They have some quizzes. They have discussion ideas. They have Lexile scores if it's and we got them together. Then they're written by teachers, for teachers, including homeschooling parents, and we got them together in order to make teaching these, to get these fun books into the hands of some really smart kids or teenagers, and get them thinking and get them some stuff that they will enjoy reading. It won't feel like such and yet still learn from. So we have a bunch of these. I can go get one if you want.
The two things I want to point out is that they are written by grad students and teachers themselves. So the people who are actually going to be
who's done it has been a teacher, even if they're not at the moment.
Yeah, and they're thick. We're talking 40, 50 pages of material here. So it's not just something that we toss off. These things are available free at the website for downloads. And we encourage anybody who's a fan of the book, but also anybody who is looking to homeschool. There we go. There's
Fuller's did this one. So all of the Heinleins that we do, we've got teacher guides. So like Farmer in the Sky and Star Beast and everything else.
We do. We've got a teacher guide for 1632 as well. So there's just a wide range of curricula that can be approached through these books, from history to hard science.
We have for each one of them as well.
For which one?
For the A Beautiful Friendship and True Cat Wars, and the middle one is Fire Season.
Yeah.
And those are actually intended for like really smart 12-year-olds or even really smart 10-year-olds if they're
yeah. Basically us when we were kids. So yeah. This is the kind of stuff that we were interested in reading and we were able to find, and we want to make that possible for the next generations as well. So,
I think these timelines are really great too. They're somewhat neglected these, but this is about a kid that goes to Ganymede, that has to immigrate to Ganymede, and they have to figure out how to, it's a tough world, and some of his family don't make it, and he has to, he's a pioneer.
Yeah.
So it's fun, and it's not all nicey.
Oh God, no.
But I think it's something that really speaks to the pioneering spirit that could also be translated into talking about America, say, if you wanted to do some history.
Yep, absolutely. Part of the thing that we do with the study guides is we do help people see where the relevance is in these books, some of which are older, so that they can help other people see that this is not just old boring stuff, but actually really fun and cool. Let's see what else we got coming up in September. That's the new stuff. We do, of course, publish reprints of our paperbacks. We've got the Valkyrie Protocol and Night Watch coming out in September as well. Those are really cool books. I kind of want to mention the paperbacks and the reprints that we're doing this year, because most of them are going to be reprints from the plague year of 2020. So anybody who wasn't going out and finding their books in bookstores, you can catch up on the paperbacks now. So. They are there.
Yeah. So, what Trader's Leap is the September mass market, isn't it?
It's October.
Oh, right. Okay, it's October.
Yeah. Let's see. Our big October title is going to be To End in Fire by David Weber and Eric Flint, and that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that one. David is doing a final polish on that, so we don't have the e-arc out yet. Anybody who's asking, when can we see the e-arc? As soon as possible. We do like sending out the electronic advanced reader copies. But it's not quite done yet. David is a perfectionist, and we love that about him. And he wants to make sure that this is absolutely just the kind of quality that you expect in a new Honorverse novel, because that's what this is, a new Honorverse novel that takes us past the timeline of the last Honorverse novel that we had, which I will mention was a top 5 New York Times bestseller. So really, really excited to see David and Eric Flint working together again. They play off of each other really well. Their characters, like the authors, are very different, and that makes for a lot of fun playing in the Honorverse. So we are getting to see more of the underbelly of the Honorverse in this one. So I'm really, really, really excited. Great cover by longtime Honorverse artist David Manley for this too. Just really big swooshy battles to end in fire. I don't have the artwork for that, but the fire. The back cover of this is also something for insiders to take a look at. It's a wrap cover, and the back cover has got a sort of looming face of evil in the back. And the reason why it has a looming face of evil is because the working title for this was The Face of Evil. So that was the concept that David was given when he started work on the cover. But we finalized the title very late in the process. So, but the Looming Face of Evil was so cool that we kept it for the back cover. So now you know that's why that's there.
That's probably got something to do with those the remnants or the masterminds of those Masons. Mason alignment.
That's right.
They won't always.
No spoilers here, but yes. Yeah, we do get to find out more about what's happening back there. So, yeah.
So that'll be a big
That's going to be amazing. That's coming out in September. No, October. All right, let's see. Space-Time War. Les Johnson was very busy. Apparently, when you send him home to work, he gets more productive. And that's fantastic. So we have a new solo novel by Les Johnson. I know you worked with Les on that, Tony. So you want to tell him a little bit about the plot for that one?
Well, it is. It's you can't say much about it without giving it away because it's got
no, that's true. There are spoiler alerts there. Yeah.
But basically, it's about a massive interstellar war that's going on that humanity is losing against a force that they do not understand, and the only solution and the only hope is to go back in time and try to unravel this. And so that's why it's called the Space-Time War. There's a lot of twisty turnies, but it is also it's all about interstellar war, and our main characters are officers on ships, and we have a cool love interest between two captains who are on different. They're allies, but they're not going to be able to get together under the strictures of their services, and so it's a difficult situation. And so,
this close to calling it star-crossed lovers. Yeah. This close.
Exactly. So, yeah. And it's just got a lot of adventure, and it's got a lot of Star Trek feel to it. I thought Les didn't agree with me, but I was like, this feels like old original series.
Yep. Yeah. Original series Star Trek, not not
Star
Trek.
And not doing anything but talking with the aliens. So anyway, whatever. And we have we have two sort of this is not Les's debut. His debut was the Mission to Metheny, but this is his second solo novel. And we have Dave Barra's book, which is his fourth novel, in that he had another series elsewhere, but this is his first Baen book, and it's a debut of a possible series, and it is also big space stuff. It is space opera on a grand scale. It's about a captain who from a civil war that was lost. And he kind of fell into a deplorable state, but he gets another chance, a chance to redeem himself. Because he was the best of the rebels that got defeated, and their cause was just, by the way. They just up against a bigger foe, and now he's got recruited by that.
Sounds sort of Firefly reminiscent, but that's but a far future setting.
Yeah, it's it's got that feel for sure. And because he was so good, the foe that defeated him that decade ago, they need him, so they dig him up and out of his job, which he's become a regular merchant captain, to go out and meet some they don't know if they're aliens or what they are, but they're scary and they can't be defeated, and they figured this guy figured out how to defeat a lot of their people, so maybe he's the one. So it's about the redemption of this guy, this character, as well as the mystery of what the heck is going on. It's called Trinity by Dave Barra.
But my key thing is, can I imagine Nathan Fillion as the main character?
I think.
But an older Nathan Fillion. So.
Well, he's not that old. He got defeated in his, I think, late 20s, early 30s. So it's been, he's in his 40s. So he's not ancient or anything. I think he's like 40, like early 40s. So he's not.
Right. Sweet spot for Hollywood actors. So
that's right.
Yeah, not an accident. So we're happy to welcome Dave Barra to our ranks. And hope you guys will enjoy this book too. Let's see, October. Trader's Leap. Yes, we've got a new novel out in paperback in the Liaison universe by Sharon Lee and Steve Miller. I love reading the Liaison stories. They are so much fun, and they're different every time. Lee and Miller are fantastic with their characters and with world building and the settings, and it's so much fun to go back to this universe. I really enjoy it. And we should mention that how many books are in this series? 20 plus, many. And we haven't even gotten to the short stories, which we'll get to next season. But we have a flow chart. So
you can get in it at a lot of places in this series.
Yes.
You don't have to go to the beginning and start reading, although you could.
Right. Yeah, which is fun. We'll do that. But we have a flow chart with better entry places and different arcs within the universe. And yeah, there are several long running story arcs and lots of interacting characters, and somebody who is a spirit carrier in one novel, maybe the main character in another novel. Just so well done and knitted together nicely by these authors, who are also great with their fans. Wonderful social media presence, and fun to interact with on that level too. So if you haven't sought it out, I recommend that. So let's see, where are we? Weird World War III. Sean Patrick Hazlitt, late captain of the United States Army. He is now in financial services in, God forbid, California. And he put together a really just stellar anthology of stories about World War III that never was, but that may be. These are stories. You saw a lot of these coming out of Vietnam, were stories where they would sort of walk the line between horror and fantasy and straight military fiction. And these are what Sean has put together for Weird World War III.
Moving into let's see, we were talking about October.
Right.
Should we talk about?
I think we're ready for
the Romanov Rest.
Yeah, for November
coming up, which is very cool. That is Tom Kratman has moved into a new realm with this. This really cool book. It's an alternate history instead of it. It's still got that Carrera like implacable sort of moving forward. War is what it is. Tom was a colonel in the Army. He has definite ideas about how war should be fought, and he presents them here as well. He's a huge student of history, and so he's able to pull a lot of that out in this. Basically, I mean, do you want to talk about it? Or it's
why don't you take it? The
Romanov family, were killed, and which led to the horror of the Soviet Union and everything, and a lot of the terrible things that happened during the 20th century. And this is an alternate history that just has them being saved, perhaps. They're not quite saved, but they might be saved by the skin of their teeth, at least maybe some of them. And what that means and how that will change the dynamic of the Russian Revolution and maybe
make things, give some hope there where there is none in reality. So kind of like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, our other alternate history that came out last year, that was completely different film, but a completely different story. But the idea is that why don't we rewrite some things that just were the worst things that ever could have happened, and see what might have been, and what might. And if you like blimps or what airships, a lot of people love freaking airships so much. I've never been one that has caught on to that mystique, but people love them. This has a lot of Zeppelins,
We actually did let a different artist illustrate the Zeppelin this time, or the lighter than airship. Dominic Harmon got to illustrate this one. Tom's two co-authors on this one, Casey Ezel and Justin Watson. Justin is also late of the U.S. Army. Casey is actively serving, a major in our Air Force. So when we're talking military alternate history, these are people who understand military structures and what it feels like to be a soldier. So. And Tom is running these collaborations like a military operation, so that's fun. So we're getting to see Tom work with some newer authors in the field, and that's exciting too. What now?
The big massive book with some illustrations in it too. So
yes,
as long as you're proven, but they're fine. They'll come across fine.
So that's the Romanov Rescue. I'm right now looking at the outline for the next book, and that's exciting too. But I won't give you any secrets from that, because that would be a spoiler for this one. Next one, This Broken World.
Oh, yeah, true.
Talking about authors trying out new genres, right? We got Chuck Gannon has written practically everything except for epic fantasy. We're about to get rid of that except for. So This Broken World is Charles E. Gannon's take on what an epic fantasy should be. So I'm in the middle of reading it. I'm very excited about it. I don't have the e-arc out yet, but it will be soon. We put a big fat fantasy type cover on it, with Kurt Miller doing the honors there. He's a different sort of hero, as you would expect from Chuck, as Druidane, the hero of This Broken World. And he is frustrated in his ambition. Let's just put it that way. That he is a young man who grew up knowing exactly what he was going to be, and exactly how he was going to do that. And the world is not cooperating at all with how he saw himself and how he saw his future. So I think there's some resonances for young people today in this one. But it's also just a fun fantasy world where lots of cool things are happening.
I think I noticed the dragon on the cover had hands. Is that correct?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's a good question. So, you can't trust dragons in this world, just like you can't trust cats in this world. So, it's nothing. Charles E. Gannon, Chuck Gannon is a deep thinker. So, how you see things the first time is not necessarily how you're going to see things the next time. So. Yeah, well, just lots of fun.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking to Chuck about it on the podcast as well. That'll be fun.
Okay, good. All right. Another new title coming out in November. Gunfight on Europa Station is a collection of all original stories edited by David Pope. Dave did 3 anthologies of weird westerns for us. Big names: Jim Butcher, Charlene Harris, Larry Correa. Lots of people shared their weird westerns. And the question was, where do we go after that? I'm like, well, of course, you take it to space, right? We're a science fiction house. So we now have weird westerns in space, gunfight on Europa Station. And Dave has put together another star-studded volume. Also, some room for some newer authors, people you might not be familiar with at first, but will want to continue reading. Just another fun set of stories. So it's coming out in November. We're reprinting In Fury Born by David Weber in November. And one of the reasons why we're reprinting In Fury Born is because David is, I will say finally, I'm allowed to finally here, finally writing stories again in that universe, in this case with a new writer, Richard Fox. These are books that we had prequels to In Fury Born that we have contracted for, I'm pretty sure in the 90s, previous century, that are finally coming to fruition. And since I think In Fury Born is some of the best work that David Weber has ever done, I'm very, very excited to be able to have these prequels in this universe. So if you like Honor Harrington, you haven't yet read In Fury Born, oh my God, so much fun. You are going to really, really enjoy these. So yeah.
And Governor is out right now.
Governor is out right now. Yeah.
At booksellers everywhere.
Finally, yes. Speaking of finally, yes, that leads us nicely into That Was Then, This Is Now by Michael Z. Williamson. He wrote a really fun time travel story called A Long Time Until Now. Did very, very well for us. And then real life intervened. And we finally have the sequel to that, which is called That Was Now, This Is Then, where we get to see a little bit more of the mechanism behind the time travel. And we see a new hapless band of American military guys and gals trapped in a time that is not a terribly forgiving time, and they have only the things that they bring with them to survive on. I have to say, this kind of story is why my SUV is packed with all kinds of crap. I could survive for months on just the stuff in my SUV.
Just in case you get thrown back into Paleolithic times in Iran, Afghanistan.
Indeed.
You will be prepared, at least for a while.
I will. There will be peanut butter and crackers, by God. Among other things. So,
well, it was. I thought that was a wonderful book. It's possibly. I mean, I like Freehold. I think that's his best novel myself. But this is that. A Long Time Until Now was his second best in my opinion. And then I'm really looking forward to this one, which is almost done. He said he would turn it in tomorrow. So
we don't have the EARC yet on that one either. Yeah.
We do not.
But we'll have it. We'll have the EARC tomorrow. No, we will not.
Be able to do that.
Soon.
Yes, but yeah. We'll have it at the normal time. We should. 4 months before we could. Yeah. But
let's see. Our other all-new original is Sword and Planet, which brings us a new cover artist. Kieran Yanner is the cover artist here. He's got a very traditional, swooshy, fun approach to science fiction art. And in this case, we have all new original stories, Sword and Planet stories. So we embrace the power of and. We have blasters and swords too. And this is
what does that mean?
Child of
stories.
What?
That sounds like something from the golden age of science fiction you're talking about. What does that mean? How would you characterize those stories?
Fun.
They take place on a planet, right?
They take place on a planet, and there's all different ways to get to the point where the technology of having swords and blasters makes sense, and a bunch of different authors take a swing at that. Take a stab at it. That makes you feel better. Yes. Okay. Well, they are. Damn it. Simon Green. Yes. Yeah. Shh. I'm gonna send the cat over to your window there. Simon Green is one of our headliners. T.C. McCarthy. Take a shot at it. Jody Lynn Nye, Jessica Cluis, Peter Fehervari is a new to Baen author that you get to see for the first time in this volume that edited by Christopher Racchio.
He's got a story in there too, probably from his Sun Eater trilogy or quadrilogy or whatever it is.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Christopher is a novelist. We know him also as the recently former editor for Baen. We welcomed David F. Shaharad as the new social media man for Baen, and wish Christopher the best of luck in his writing career. But we're still getting to publish some of the anthologies he's done for us, so that's fun too. Yeah. And this one will be out in December, which I will remind everyone is a fine month for gifting. So good stocking stuffers here.
We
got for the mass markets in December. What now?
Mass markets make excellent stocking stuffers. They fit in.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Starting in October, when you can give them out as Halloween presents as well. So
we have
let's see, for the mass markets, we've got 3.
The Imperium, we have Local Custom, Serpent Daughter, a 1632 book, No Peace Beyond the Line. Those are some of the mass markets coming out in the fall.
In the fall, yep. Local Custom is hasn't been in mass market for a while. A Liaison novel, Agent of the Imperium. For those of you who have ever played the Traveler role-playing game, this one is for you. This is set in the history of the Traveler universe, written by the creator of the Traveler universe, and was a Dragon Award nominee. The Founder Effect by Robert Hampson and Sandra Medlock is a future history, braided future history, inspired by the Tennessee Valley Interstellar Workshop. So it is hard science based, about what really the first interstellar human colony will look like. Lots and lots of great fun stories, including from David Weber and Mark Wandry, and Dave Butler also has a fun story about bride stealing.
Larry wrote something for it, right? Larry Correia.
But Larry Correia wrote the introduction. Yeah. All right, that wraps up our fall season. Do we want to give them?
Well,
want to give them a taste?
We could. Well, I know the one thing that I know is coming up is Tim Powers' excellent the sort of finale to this this series of the Vickery and Castine novels, which is
yes.
Also, it's kind of a weird, interdimensionally challenged Los Angeles with ghosts.
Well, I mean, exactly
they're kind of like ghosts, and they're evil and can hurt you. often. Sometimes they're just really confused, and but they can get in you, and they can do all kind of, and it's just a cool world. And in this one, this is called Stolen Skies, and it is about UFOs appearing around Los Angeles and what that might portend. And because it's Tim Powers, you know, it might not all Powers it seems. So, or more wide.
It's funky and weird. But I mean, did you not find it interesting that the U.S. government finally admits that UFOs are real? Right? We thought it was the Russians. The Russians thought it was us. It's not. There are identified things out there that credible people have seen. They have released the classified files on this, and this is when Tim Powers' novels about this comes out.
Connected into the archetypes or something. I don't know. It just.
I'm just saying.
I'll tell you one thing. Well, maybe
is it aliens or is it Tim?
That's right. That's right. Because if it does turn out to be what Tim says it is, it's pretty dangerous for us. So
oh my God, yes. Yeah. We better hope that there are heroes like Vickery and Castaigne out there.
Exactly. So that's a fun book in January. I don't know. I haven't memorized the spring list yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, we will just sort of briefly cover spring. We have another new to Baen author, a guy named Michael Murceau. It's those who know French will understand that, yes, this is indeed a pseudonym. And The Deep Man, I will just say, we bought it because it reminds me so much of the Dorsai. And, it's not Gordy Dixon's Dorsai, but it made me feel like I felt when reading Gordy Dixon's Dorsai. So really fun, far future military science fiction novel exploration. So that'll be coming out in the spring, in January.
We have an honor-verse.
Yes, we do. Just trying to think if we. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we have a new honor-verse novel coming out. A Call to Insurrection. So this is David writing with Tim Zahn and Tom Pope, who is an honor-verse expert.
Sub-series.
Yes. So this is the early history of the kingdom of Manticore. We haven't yet become an empire of Manticore. And in this one, we get to explore the early history of the Andermani Empire, which is at that point an empire. And they provides lessons, both cautionary tales and things to admire from the Andermanis of that time. So great fun in the honor-verse there. We do have a new Liaison Universe Constellation collection. We brought the first one of those out. Yeah. Is it 5? Got it. It's already 5. Yeah. We got to publish the complete short stories of the Liaison universe in 3 volumes. And by the time we had brought volume 3 out, there was another volume. So Sharon Lee and Steve Miller writing in that universe. I think the short stories are a good place to start, actually, because you get to see the breadth of the kind of storytelling that they do.
It's just amazing.
Then we have coming up
Mosaic, the space opera mosaic of an entire universe.
Mm-hmm. And fun, interesting characters, people who feel like people. Often very weird people, but people. Let's see. Then we have something that's kind of new for us. It's a 2-book series that is, in fact, 2 books, and we're bringing them out back to back. And in fact, they're coming. What now?
That the Lynn Skulls you bought?
Yeah.
Yes. What are those?
Yeah.
What are those? I don't know them yet. So.
Well, they are really, really cool. And publishing them so close together that we not only have covers that are going to be series look covers, but they are going to, in fact, make one long, beautiful painting by Tom Kidd. They are, they call them portal fantasies these days, right? It's its own genre where people from the real world go through a magic portal into a magic world. And in this case, the three people who have been called to Overwhere are three ladies of a certain age who happen to be the only ones who showed up for their book club meeting on Valentine's Day. So you have three ladies who have wide range of life experience being called to a fantasy world by three teenagers who do not have a wide range of life experience. So the interaction between the questers and the people that their quest has called to them is really just a lot of fun. At first, the people who called our ladies over are like, we were looking for heroes, you're ladies with knitting needles. What the hell? But they do have grand adventures and great fun in this world where magic works. And that has interesting ties to our world. So there's something for everyone in these, and they're written by Jane Linsgold. The first one is called The Library of the Sapphire Wind, and the second one is called The Aurora Borealis Bridge. Baen readers know Jane Linsgold from her YA collaborations with David Weber that we were talking about earlier in the context of the teacher's guides. So very excited about those. Lots and lots of fun.
Now,
let's see, what else do we have? New hardcover. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
What's your question?
I was about to ask you about the new logo.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, just to reassure everybody, the new logo is the old logo. What we have done is we've taken the Baen Dragon and Starship logo that everybody loves, and we've updated it with one of our artists. We worked with Dominic Harmon to turn it into a snazzier version of itself. So I think you guys are going to really like it, and you're going to start seeing the new version of the logo on books coming out in the summertime. There's a gold version and a black and silver version, and they're both really, really cool. So I will be debuting the new logo at the Baen Roadshow for LibertyCon. So if you would like to see that, be one of the first to see that, you can go to the virtual LibertyCon convention, look for the live Baen Roadshow this coming Saturday. Yeah.
Those are cool, and you can go see them. I'm not going to show them to you yet because it's not debut time.
No. So just a couple of other things we have coming up. I'll tease coming up. We have Larry Correa doing a sort of World War I trench fantasy with his friend Steve Diamond, Servants of War.
That is going to be cool. Think of this. It's kind of like a fantasy bolo in that there are Gollum tanks,
yes.
Like not Gollum from the Lord of the Rings. Gollum's like big clay, indestructible robots with their iron, I think, in this. Yeah.
An endless war. So
you like the giant, the giant monsters from where did he do those? He did them in the Hard Magic series as well. He really likes that idea of giant iron giants.
Yes, yeah.
Fighting.
And these take teams of men and women actually to fight them. So it's really cool. Valhellions, which is the sequel to Sorry. All right. So also in that season, we've got Valhellions by Tim Akers, a sequel to the Night Watch urban fantasy. So that one's going to be really cool. It got another cool Todd Lockwood cover. Weird World War IV by Sean Patrick Hazlitt. Collection anthology will be coming out. A new Tinker novel by Wen Spencer called Harbinger. Yay! Yay! So happy to see that one will be coming out. Yes, Wen is back. Wen Spencer is just one of our finest urban fantasy writers, and just really excited to be able to share that with you guys.
Tinker is
coming up.
Happens when modern Philadelphia crashes into elf kingdoms.
Yes, and bounces back off again, and then comes back and bounces back off again, and there's this whole industry created as people figure out the timing of the bouncing back and where modern day Pittsburgh and Elfland Pittsburgh interact. So it's so much fun watching Wen's imagination go down these tracks and say, all right, well, if you have this thing, then what logically do people do? Well, they look for ways to make money off of it. So Harbinger is will be out this when is it?
Well, by the way, Wen has a great story in World Breakers, which is the tank anthology that's coming out in August, which is one of those stories where the tank wakes up in a very altered future that it didn't that it's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And with Wen, it's like it goes places you don't expect. It's really fun.
Exactly. Yes, she takes you places you don't expect. That's what I love about her stories. It's one of the reasons why I like her science fiction stories as well as her fantasy. So, glad to get that you guys got her to write science fiction as well. And we will end up with a new John Ringo novel called Into the Real, where John is writing with another younger writer, a lady named Lydia Scherer, who's published a bunch of novels independently.
Yeah.
What now?
We just had her on the podcast. She was one of our authors or We Shall Rise. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Lydia's very excited, enthusiastic person, and I'm very excited about Into the Real, which John and Lydia were a little bit worried about because in the first book, at least, 90% of humanity is not killed on the first page. So I'm just going to, just lay it out there for you. However, there's a lot of great tension and a lot of wonderful characters that you've come to expect. And John and Lydia worked well together on this. So
they had a great rapport on the podcast episode that we did as well. They were doing back and forth kidding. So.
Yes, yeah. This is sort of. If Pokemon Go met Ender's Game and were real. So, yeah.
Maybe that is a training ground for these UFOs that are, who knows? We'll see.
Electrophores. Yes, exactly. Yes.
That's actually that's her story.
All right, so that's sort of our sneak preview of what's coming up. If you want to see the artwork, again, we'll have the artwork for a lot of these titles, some of the new books. Check out the Baen Roadshow at the Virtual LibertyCon coming up this weekend, or catch us at a convention. We plan to be at DragonCon, Labor Day weekend, and other conventions moving forward. So.
A lot of the book covers will appear in mid-July after sales conference as well, and you'll see them at your various booksellers at that point.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
It's a wonderful couple of seasons we've got coming, or 3 that we talked about. So there's all kind of cool stuff for us to look forward to.
I think so. I hope you guys like it, and let us know your feedback. Always want to hear from our readers, and sign up for our newsletter. We have a twice monthly newsletter talking about the forthcoming books and the forthcoming ebook offerings. We run contests there, and to see you on the social medias.
And subscribe to the podcast.
And subscribe to the podcast, darn it.
They'll already be aware of it if you're listening or watching this.
So all right.
Well, Toni Weisskopf, thank you so much for dropping in and telling us about the future.
At least the future of Baen books. So yeah. All right. Thank you, Toni.
Here is another entry in David Weber's Honor Harrington series masterpiece, Uncompromising Honor. Honor keeps her promise. The Solarian League. For hundreds of years they have borne the banner of human civilization, but the bureaucratic mandarins who rule today's League are corrupt and looking for scapegoats. They've decided the upstart Star Kingdom of Manticore must be annihilated. Uncompromising courage. Honor Harrington has worn the Star Kingdom's uniform for half a century. Very few know war the way Honor Harrington does. So far, hers has been a voice of caution. But now the Mandarins have committed atrocities such as the galaxy has not known in 1,000 years. They have finally killed too many of the people Honor Harrington loves. Uncompromising vengeance. Now Honor Harrington is coming for the Solarian League, and hell is riding in her wake. And now, David Weber's Uncompromising Honor.
George Benton Tower, City of Old Chicago. Sol System, Solarian League. And the Assembly will never give in, Nathan McCartney insisted hotly. Roll over and play dead for an alliance of neobarbs who just totally destroyed Sol's economy? Who threatened to treat Navy ships as pirates and massacre their personnel? The delegates will never agree to that. Nathan's right. Malachi Abruzzi's voice was harsh, his eyes glittering. We need to fight on. We're closing the technological gap and they know it. That's the real reason they were desperate enough to try this Operation Nemesis shit. They know damned well that we didn't kill all those civilians in Beowulf, if anyone killed them. I'm not at all sure they were killed in the first place, but they're using it as an excuse. And sooner or later, everyone in the League will realize that's all the hell this is. If they're stupid enough to threaten the industrial capacity of every Solarian star system, they'll create so much hatred, so much resentment, public opinion will demand we burn their systems to the ground and sow the ruins with salt. We'll turn them into bad memories and... Innocenti Kolokoltsov tuned them out. He sat at the head of the conference table, and for the first time in his long life, he genuinely had no idea what to do next. Agata Vodoslavsky wasn't present, and he wondered where she was. Perhaps she believed she could find a bolt hole somewhere, a way to evade the fate Harrington had decreed for them, a place to hide. God knew they could all use one. But there's not one. Not one that's deep enough, anyway, he thought. And especially not since Harrington laid it all out on the public boards that way. There's no one in the entire star system who doesn't know precisely what the Alliance's conditions are, or who they blame for all of this. Was it remotely possible, he wondered, that the Manties had been right all along about the existence of the Mason alignment? Or something like the alignment, at least? Could it be that they'd actually been telling the truth, as they understood it at least, in all those diplomatic notes, all those protests he'd so blithely disregarded? He didn't know the answers to those questions, and if he didn't, then how could the man in the street, or even an assembly delegate, know them? The answer to that question, at least, was childishly simple. They couldn't, and it didn't matter a single solitary damn. They couldn't know whether or not the Manties were telling the truth, no, but they did know whose heads the Manties had chosen to demand. They did know who the Manties blamed, and they knew who they had to hand over to prevent the Manties and their friends from wrecking the Solarian League from one end to the other. The only good thing was that Harrington had given them a month. Kolokoltsov knew damned well it wasn't going to take that long for the citizens of the Sol system to decide what they were going to do, but at least they had a little time. Maybe there really was a bolt hole they could reach. Maybe... The conference room door opened abruptly without warning, and his head snapped up as a gendarmerie brigadier, accompanied by a gendarmerie lieutenant colonel and a Marine major, walked through it unannounced. He opened his mouth to demand an explanation, then froze as a dozen assault rifle-armed gendarmes and Marines in light body armor followed on their heels. "What's the meaning of this?" McCartney's demand was hot, fierce, and frightened. "My name is Gaddis," the brigadier said flatly. "This is Lieutenant Colonel Okiku and Major Tarkovsky. We're here to place you under arrest." "Arrest?" McCartney surged to his feet, pounding both fists on the conference table, his face dark with fury. "We'll have you court-martialed! We'll have you shot for mutiny! You have no authority, no—" "We have all the authority we need." Gaddis's cold tone cut across McCartney's fiery indignation like a sword. "It comes from Admiral Winston Kingsford and Deputy Attorney General Marie-Claire Rorendahl." McCartney's mouth snapped shut, and Gaddis's eyes glittered. "Attorney General Rorendahl, on the basis of information and evidence laid before her, has authorized your arrest for conspiracy, treason, and mass murder. Given the uncertain state of the civilian government and its agencies, she's formally requested that Admiral Kingsford and the Navy oversee that arrest." It was suddenly very, very quiet in the conference room, and Gaddis's smile was a vibroblade. "Admiral Kingsford, in turn, deputized me. I'm afraid he couldn't be here himself, much as he would have liked to be, because his pinnace is currently en route to HMS Imperator, where, on behalf of the Solarian League, he will formally accept the Grand Alliance's terms." 3 men and 1 woman who, up until that moment, had been 4 of the 5 most powerful people in the Solarian League, stared at him in stunned silence, too shocked even to think, far less protest. Gaddis looked at them for a moment, then turned to Okiku and Tarkovsky. "Take them away," he said.
That was another entry in the complete audiobook serialization of Uncompromising Honor by David Weber. And that's it for the podcast, thanks to Audible.com and to podcast theme composer Ruth Judkowitz. And special thanks to Baen Publisher Toni Weisskopf for ushering in the great Baen books yet to come in 2021 and giving us a preview of Baen offerings in 2022. Please join us next time here at the hammering heart of science fiction and fantasy, and keep reaching for the stars.